Taddeo. Welcome to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Thanks so much for clicking. To my returning subscribers, thank you for your continuous love and support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please feel at home. Have you had an opportunity to subscribe to the channel yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, hit subscribe. And please don't forget to like and share. My experience is that South African people are warm-hearted, loving, and open. So I was surprised to find out that South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world. How could this be? I needed to get to the bottom of this, so I started to do my research, digging deep. And one thing kept popping up: land ownership, land, land, land. I was shocked to hear that the majority of Africans do not have access to own land. Imagine that, not having something to help you get credit in the bank, not leave a legacy for your family, or feel a sense of belonging. I had heard Julius Malema talk several times in his speeches about reappropriating the land and to ensure that every African had access.
If the grandchildren of Jan van Riebeeck have not understood that we need our land, that over and above it is about our dignity, then they have failed to receive the gift of humanity. We do not seek revenge, though they caused so much evil in our land. We do not wish for their suffering, though they caused so much humiliation of countless generations. All we want, all our people ever wanted, is their land to which their dignity is rooted and founded. Today, let us close this question once and for all. Let us unite and pay no one for benefiting from the crimes against humanity. Let us come together and agree on this noble, historic, and human call to expropriate land without compensation for equal redistribution. Many want us to debate food security and economic development, but how can we do so when we do not have the land? They want us to come to the table with their bosses and as beggars, because that is unacceptable. The ability to develop policies on food security depend on land redistribution, not the other way around. Those who hold the land labor on the false idea that to distribute it, we must first establish a food security program. No, we must distribute the land, then we can all talk about food security program. We invite you to engage, not to pick up spears and guns. We invite you to come to the table and realize that nothing means anything for our people except their dignity in the land ownership. For a lasting peace, security, and justice, land must be expropriated without compensation for equal redistribution.
I was shocked that the minority of white South Africans own the majority of land. How could this be? And as I was doing research, I came across many videos and resources about how the South African government had open forums for South Africans to come and talk about this very topic. They were to share their thoughts, their ideas, and their concerns based on what they were feeling on the topic of land appropriation. But it was one particular video that I truly was flabbergasted about. And this is when Mr. Roots came to speak in front of the Parliament. He is a representative of Afriforum, and he came to what was supposed to be a clarification session where he was to ask questions of the Parliament, and the Parliament was made up of all different political organizations. But instead, he used his 10 minutes to make a statement that was full of anger, misinformation, and definitely disrespect.
My name is Ernst Roots. I am Deputy CEO of Afriforum. 15 years ago, the South African government accepted David Rakase's offer to buy the farm that he was renting from them. To this very day, the South African government has been unable to transfer ownership to his name. Earlier this year, Akkerland Boerdery was served with an injectment order by the Minister of Rural Development and Land Reform and told that they had 7 days to vacate their farms at a compensation of 10% of market value. This, of course, to further Chinese interest in South Africa. This week, Afriforum had to obtain an urgent application in the High Court to compel the South African Police Service to act against land invaders on the land of a Gauteng farmer, Dr. Motori Maserumule. The police simply refused to open Masirumuli's case. Mr. Chairperson, expropriation without compensation or below market value shows disrespect for property rights as a basic human right. I only have 10 minutes, so I will keep it short. In my presentation, I will refer to the ideological goals of the ANC-EFF alliance. I will touch on the historical fallacy that serves as motivation for expropriation without compensation. I will explain why willing buyer, willing seller has failed, why this policy would be catastrophic, and why the so-called hunger for land is a fabrication of the ANC-EFF alliance. It has become popular pastime for members of this House to blame every white person for the crimes of every other white person. Now imagine if we had blamed every black person for the crimes of every other black person. If we were consistent in how we evaluate and contextualize history, white people would make claims like black people are murderers only on the basis that some black people have committed the crime of murder, or that black people had to pay reparations for the Blaukrans and Wenen massacres or the extermination of the Van Rensburg tract. We would all agree that such claims would be regarded as grossly racist and intolerably unfair. And I'm convinced that those of you who call for reparations most aggressively do not even know about the Blaukrans and the Wenen massacres or the Van Rensburg tract. Why? Because you are drunk on ideology. It is an ideology not based on historic accuracy, but a desperate attempt to ferment racial hatred and division with the true aim of advancing state power and hopeless socialism under the banner of corrective measures. Yes, you are drunk on ideology, the ideology of the obviously failing national democratic revolution. You are drunk on power, since every decision you make is an attempt to gather more power and control into your hands. You are drunk on hatred and contempt, not only for white people, but for the poorest South Africans who suffer under your policies daily and will suffer even more if you continue to destroy the economy and to sow hatred and division. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
He had a handout of all the things that he thought was wrong with the current system and why land appropriation would be the definition of insanity.
Claiming that property rights would be eroded and that economic freedom would be compromised in a way that would enhance economic development is like claiming that KFC would be expanded in a way that would ensure that chickens would prosper. Those who are calling for the erosion of property rights have not been able to provide any evidence on why a more aggressive implementation of an already failed policy would lead to anything other than a more aggressive failure. Mr. Chairperson, this is Albert Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. Christopher Hitchens said that whatever is asserted without evidence should be dismissed without evidence.
Of course, land appropriation is a topic that has many emotions involved in it. And as the members of parliament shared their thoughts after his speech, I was not surprised that white South African members of parliament spoke against Mr. Roots and his way of talking. They claimed that they were disowning him, that he did not speak on behalf of white South Africans, and in fact that he was bringing people back by his speech.
Honourable Swart.
No, Chair, I also would like to add dat ek is teleurgesteld met julle submissie vandag. Ek is al 20 jaar in die parlement, where we've been building a new South Africa. We've been building relations. And I've heard other Afriforum meetings where you have presented. There's not been this arrogance. We are trying to build a South Africa. You are taking us back. En ek maak 'n bepleit met jou vandag dat your insults to the people here is unacceptable. We need to come together as a nation. Ek is Afrikaans sprekende. Vandag, 52 jaar gelede, is Hendrik Verwoerd doodgemaak in hierdie parlement. Jy weet dit, né? And we need to reach out to each other. You've heard people here that are hardening their hearts as a result of what you have said today. We've been sitting with this process for months to find a restorative justice solution. You have not commented on one clause of the Constitution. All you've done is you've attacked the ANC and the EFF. Why don't you comment on the provisions of the Constitution and be constructive so that we can take this process forward? It's exactly the same as Black Land First yesterday, that attacked me as a white person. You've done the same to black people today. And so please, I would plead with you to reconsider your approach. We are called to be peacemakers. Blessed be the peacemakers. We are called, we have a ministry of reconciliation. And I'd urge you to consider your position. Thank you.
They also talked about how he had lost an opportunity to really make a difference and impact.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that Afriforum, I'm not going to comment on what the other speakers have said or repeat it. I think this is a missed opportunity for you. And I cannot align myself with anything that you have said.
But everyone was making a statement and I was feeling it is important. For me, Afriforum acted today as a white, Black Land First organization. They're definitely not representing the white minority in South Africa. And what you did today was a disgrace for your own organization. And I'm telling you, you will feel that in future. The way you acted the previous months, the way you acted trying to fight for something you believe in, you will destroy yourself. Whether you like it or not, that will happen because South Africans are fair people and they judge, and when they judge harshly. But I do have a question. Afriforum was present basically at 95% of all the public hearings we had across the land. At every forum where I was, Afriforum spoke. Was there not a report back from those people who spoke to head office to report to you that South Africa, the majority of South Africans who attended those hearings, are hunger for land, and that is a problem that we all need to solve? And was there no report back to that? And if there was a report back, why don't you change your stance to be more progressive and trying to assist a problem we need to fix in this country?
What I realized with all of the research and hearing this, and I'm going to play it for you so you can make up your mind because I'm just sharing my interpretation of it, but is this, that land appropriation is an important topic, and no matter who makes it into the political arena in 2024, it needs to be at the forefront in order for South Africa to be fully equal. Until land appropriation is addressed and the solutions are come together as a whole, nothing will move forward and South Africa will not be able to prosper. I encourage us all to continue to do our research and understand the history of South Africa, why land appropriation is so vital, and why these discussions need to be calm, cool, and effective to come together as South Africans to come with the solution. What are your thoughts on Mr. Root's thought and process? What are your thoughts on this whole topic? How do you feel South Africa should move ahead collaboratively to have an equal South Africa so that every member, every person and citizen of South Africa can prosper? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments. And please, definitely keep your research going because this is how we can educate ourselves across the globe about what's happening in all areas of the world. So we can not only help South Africa, but also be contributing members of society. Until next time, please, don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you next time. Bye.